is called the Yorkie, and this is definitely one of my fave shapes, of course, because it comes from a brass monkey, and brass monkey is my all-time favorite pole move. So for this move, we're going to be going from a brass monkey or brass sit in there, and you're going to be grabbing the same leg that is hooked with the same hand. So prerequisite for this, you definitely should be comfortable in a brass monkey, not just a brass sit, because even though we grab the foot from our brass sit, we end up laying back to a brass monkey, which means you should be secure with that brass hold, okay? There is a degree of shoulder flexibility with that bottom arm, but whether that arm actually grabs the pole or not doesn't have to happen, okay? So if you do have tight shoulders and you're thinking, oh, that overhead arm grab, yours might not look like mine, but that doesn't make it wrong. It makes it a variation of this move, okay? So don't let the shoulder flexibility hold you back on this one. For this move, it works on spin or static, but I would say, at least for me, and I'm pretty comfortable in this move because I love that brass monkey shape, that initial moment when you grab your foot and you lay back feels a little sketchy on spin, okay? So if you are new to this move, I would encourage you to A, don't spin too fast, or start with it on static and make sure you're fully comfortable with it before you take it to spin. Okay, so another thing on this Yorkie shape, you will see some variations on it, not just of how that outside bottom arm is placed, but also as to which arm grabs which foot, okay? I have also seen it where the outside hand grabs the leg that is hooked as well, and I've done that way. I've done both of them. I will say the opposite arm to leg definitely feels a little bit less secure to me, and it is, in some ways, it's easier to grab the foot that way. In some ways, it's harder. So some of you may find that grabbing opposite arm to leg is easier. Honestly, I don't know which variation of Yorkie came first. If you know, please let me know. I have no idea. But we're going to be going through the breakdown of same arm as leg, okay? So for this, as I said, you want to be comfortable in your brass monkey. We're going to be starting from a brass monkey, brass sit. You can get into it however you want to, okay? I'm going to be demoing on spin just so that you can see all the angles of it, okay? So from your brass monkey, brass sit. If you're starting in a brass monkey, you're gonna sit up to your brass sit. You don't have to go to a full brass sit. You can keep this foot up here if you want to. Your same arm is gonna go behind the pole. So the pole goes into your elbow pit, palm to face. And you're gonna grab this same leg that is hooked, ideally at the ankle. I'd recommend using this top leg, pushing into the pole to give you a little extra security. As you lay back into it, your outside arm, check your temperature. Look, the pole is right there. Depending on how comfortable you feel with this arm, if you feel comfortable pushing it down, great. If this hold feels okay for you, you're gonna release the top leg and then push your chest through, okay? So this move is gonna look different on different people, depending on your flexibility, of course. That part where I was talking about the push the chest through, depending on your flexibility and comfort with the move. If you're initially getting comfortable with this move, don't worry about that chest through. But what I mean by that is this arm, we're through here. This is upside down, right side up version of a brass monkey. That bottom hand is here. And then once you grab, stick your chest out. It's just a little motion, a little chest bump, okay? So let's talk about all the things that are going on. When you go to grab that foot, try not to grab your toes, okay? Try to grab maybe lower shin, top of your foot. I'd recommend not grabbing too high up on your leg because then as you try and lay back into the full brass monkey shape, you're most likely gonna have a hard time reaching it. So think of somewhere around top of the foot, bottom of the ankle. It's gonna give you a nicer line and you're gonna have a more solid and firm hold, okay? That top foot on the pole, how I kept my foot on, I'd recommend keeping that foot on, initially laying back into it just because it gives you a little bit more stability. But if you feel 100% with that knee and you don't usually use that foot when you lay back into a brass monkey, that's fine. That leg is just there for security. It doesn't have to be there, okay? But I like to have it there just in case, as you lay back, if it turns out something slippy here, you still have a little extra security there to keep you in place, because this arm reaching up and grabbing onto this knee, it is changing the dynamics of that knee grip. When I lay back into a Yorkie, my grip of my knee doesn't feel exactly the same as if I'm just laying back into a regular brass monkey, okay? So this inside arm is grabbing the foot. As you lay back, let's talk about that outside hand. I demoed it as I went through. Those of you that are more flexible, you might not have an issue. You just drop that arm overhead, grab a hold of the pole. Amazing. For most pullers, what tends to happen is that outside arm, we put it overhead and we do this, and we can't find the pole. Okay, so here's your rule of thumb, and this is anytime you're reaching overhead for the pole. Quite often, it's right there. Check your temperature, put your forearm to your head, turn your head, it's right there, okay? You can keep this hand with the thumb towards your face as you slide it down, or if you would prefer to turn it over. Personally, I prefer this hold where it's like a cup and you can wrap your thumb, not wrap your thumb, whichever you prefer. I prefer this grip because then when I get to the part where I said about pushing my chest through, as I push my chest through, it doesn't impact this grip. It actually locks me in more. Versus if I put this grip, fingers pointing down, as I push my chest through, I have to increase my grip so that I don't push myself off of my grip, okay? So last part of the equation, because we've got inside arm, grabbing the inside leg, outside hand, grabbing the outside leg, wherever you want it to go. It can be bent, it can be straight, it can be extended back. I actually do find when I release and lower that back leg, the ballast of it actually pushes me more into the move, okay? So definitely don't take that leg off of the pole if you're like, oh, I don't know if my knee hold is, secure. But that being said, if you're like, it doesn't feel amazing, but you're pretty comfortable in a brass monkey, I find personally when I lower that back leg, I actually find it increases my grip everywhere else because it just gives just the right tip where those pressure points go into just the right spot, okay? So our contact points that we have on this, that inside thigh, pretty much butt to mid-calf-ish, that inside arm, the pull is in that elbow, and where it hits exactly is going to be different for everyone. Some people might feel that contact point more on their biceps, some people more on their forearm, but that arm is behind the pole, not in front of the pole, okay? And then that outside hand is either grabbing with a thumb to the head, which is my personal preference, or you can go fingers down the way that you would with like a handspring, okay? Should we look at it one more time? Okay, so get into your brass however you want to. You can drop down, you can invert up into it, whatever makes most sense in your head. Okay, if I go from a brass sitting down, I'm right here. I can grab that foot, lay back into it, check your temperature. There's the pull. Push that back leg down as you push your chest through. Hold, that back leg can be bent or straight. When you're ready to come out, you can take it back up into your brass monkey or any other variation of moves that you may want to do. So that is your Yorkie shape. Play around with it. I recommend starting on static before you take it to spin. If it's feeling comfortable, try putting it together with some of your other fave moves that you're comfortable with into a complete combo on spin or static. Let me know how it goes. If you do try the opposite arm to leg, let me know which is your preference. I would love to hear.